Alrighty, Oklahoma fans, let's have a conversation here about old John Mateer fighting through injury to play this game versus the struggling Texas Longhorns, and you end up getting blown out. You start off here with a penalty. So this is going to be very speculative, and that's a big word for me to say. I'm terrible at the big words. But I do think John Mateer was potentially concussed on this play. So Keontae Lewis, I'm glad he's healthy. Not the best job blocking here, but Mateer is still able to get around 3. And then Michael Taft, who's arguably been the best safety in the SEC outside of A.J. Halsey. Big helmet-to-helmet shot here. I mean, that is massive to where Mateer has to fix his helmet. And, well, I've always thought if a QB takes a big shot to the head, it can really affect the position where decision-making is of the utmost importance. So take that for what it's worth. He didn't look like the same guy. A lot of it was the injury. A lot of it was some Oklahoma offensive inefficiencies, if you will, and we'll cover this for the rest of the film study. But we get to the 2nd and 5. Mateer does roll out, and he looks fine. It's a good little sidearm release, and boom, okay? I think most quarterbacks are completing this deep over. So Oklahoma, you have to like where they were to start this game. The only problem with this, if my number one receiver is in this much space versus a safety, and he has this much room to turn upfield and make something happen here, I need this guy to be missed. Not want, need, okay? And Burks has got to do a better job here. You just got to make that guy miss right there. Got to. It's a really good play right there. This is an exotic blitz, but the backside of this really didn't change a whole heck of a lot. Now, once again, if you're going up against, both backers blitzing, the best thing to always have is a shallow drag. You can't know that as a play caller, though. There were open guys, though. I mean, this Sategna is open. Mateer's looking to the right side because he does see Kanek opening up here, okay? If you're going to throw this, why are we not throwing this down the seam, okay? And this was also kind of a weird route by Kanek, okay? If you're bending this, let's bend this inwards and not bend behind the DB unless you're just told to keep getting vertical, okay? And then, obviously, Mateer is banged up. He gets spooked here. The protection is good enough, right? I'm okay with what I see here protection-wise, and you're responsible for this unblocked player. You're actually still good in this spot, right? It's a really bad decision to not only throw this, but mechanically, and obviously Mateer's mechanics are what they are, the sidearm and all that stuff. But you can see the footwork here. This base is wild, okay? Like just throwing it up, and I know he's got that baseball shortstop-y kind of background, but this is just a mess of quarterback play right here, and he throws it to the corner, and it gets picked off. Ugh. So I don't think they threw a flag for offsides here, but either way, even though they do jump right here and they don't call it, that helmet's in the neutral zone, by the way, we cannot let unblocked A-gap pressure get through under any circumstances, okay? So the running back does come in here to help protect against this. I don't know why you don't wait for the running back to actually get here if his job is indeed to protect. So I think that's a mistake, however their snap operation actually works, okay? So if the guard is thinking, hey, this unblocked A-gap pressure is going to get picked up by the running back, well, he's not there, all right? But either way, even if that wasn't the case, we just prefer to not have the A-gaps go untouched, okay? So Mateer is obviously rushed. DT backs into coverage, and Mateer throws an absolute beauty. Once again, weird delivery, gets it up and down, and the tight end takes a big shot. Boom. Alrighty, so I have been doing Oklahoma film studies on John Mateer every single week. Can someone, and I cover so many teams, all right, so someone that knows way more about Oklahoma football, please correct me on this. Please, please, please. But does he not throw the football with his hands on the laces? It looks as if his hand is not on the laces. Now, it could be that he did that for this game because he does have a hurt right hand. That would make some sense, but you could see that the right hand is not actually on the laces. But I do like that he steps up into the pocket, two hands on the football, and delivers a really good ball. It is low, of course, but it is enough for a first down. We get to the 3rd and 2. And John Mateer, to me, has been the second best quarterback in the SEC. I think Ty Simpson has separated himself from the pack. Now, Mateer is moving down my list because that's how bad of a game this was. And I understand he was hurt. But if you guys, I understand Mateer throws picks. My preseason evaluation of him was he's going to be really good as a first year as a starter, but there's going to be at least one big game he is going to throw you out of. Okay? And that's exactly what happens here. I mean, this is just not open. It's possible that he did not see this corner. And one thing about this play that is very interesting, and someone please correct me on this because LSU does this some of the time as well, with the tight end 86 being on this side of the line of scrimmage, he can't be an eligible receiver based on what I see here. Someone that knows the rules way better than me, let me know. Okay? So, by him not being ineligible, this corner can just play freely, okay? If by looking at this, and obviously Texas DBs are some of the best coach DBs in the country, he can look to see, okay, there's nothing else here, and Mateer's thinking, okay, this guy is just wide open. Let me just throw this into this wide open space here and play hero. Is it the worst INT in the world? It's not the worst. It's really bad, though. It's really, really, really bad. This just needs to be thrown away. And if you throw this away, you're getting a pretty big field goal here at the end of the half. Instead, he just throws it into the space because he probably didn't think a DB was over there. I haven't been able to listen to Mateer's press conference. He was probably asked about this. But still, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad. Now, this wasn't really a shocker per se, but this was really the first time this Oklahoma offensive line was really challenged. I know Michigan's got some dudes, but they all got drafted last year, and you were at home. This is a hostile, warm environment, and the middle of this offensive line just had a tough day. But since Mateer has that sidearm delivery, look at that ball location. Boom. It allows Burks to make this guy miss, which if you would have done that earlier, it's probably a touchdown or something even bigger. But he ends up getting a really big gain after the catch. 3rd and Broken Arrow. 3rd and Bixby. 3rd. I'm trying to think of some other small Oklahoma towns. 3rd and Jinx. How about Jinx? I could go smaller. I could go Norman suburbs, but this is tough kind of looking at this after the fact because there were so many guys open that are picking up the first down, okay? They're bringing some heavy pressure, but it's coming all the way from the second level, and it's picked up, okay? So this pocket is really, really, really good. Once again, never going to be a mechanics expert when it comes to Mateer. That's a little bit better, but it's thrown behind Isaiah Sategna, and it ends up being a pick, okay? Now, we go through these different routes, and on 3rd and 12, I'm telling my QB, hey, you probably have 2 downs to pick this up. This to Kanek gets the job done. This in-breaker to the top is also getting the job done right here. This corner playing so far off of him. This to Burks is also probably getting this done. It is a little bit different with Taft being there as well, but it's probably getting done as well. Now, one thing I do bring up that's a little bit unusual when you play in this game is that the shadows can be kind of gnarly. All right, so for brevity, I'm not showing you the weird Mateer throw backwards that was a fumble and Taft's foot was out of bounds. So let's go to this 3rd and 21. Okay, so there's different philosophies from the true QB experts out there when it comes to drifting in the pocket, right? And basically, if you're running a lot of out-breaking routes, and they're being run to the left, drifting can give you a better angle to make a throw, okay? But I am not the biggest believer of that if the pocket is good. And in this instance, the pocket was fine, okay? Yeah, your left tackle here is getting beat to the inside some, okay? So this forces Mateer to get off his landmark, if you will. But the problem with that is it does eventually get picked up. So I can understand him drifting as well because of the incoming pressure. All right. But you'll see this when he actually decides to throw this 3rd and 21. I'm actually okay with him just throwing this up because, yes, it could be picked. But, there it comes to a point where you just got to make something happen. Okay. Could you just play it safe, hit this check down, live to fight another down, and trust your good defense? Sure. All right. The problem, though, with just throwing this up, though, is you're doing this backing up. So after a pump and then another pump, you throw this while you're getting hit. All right. So this ball's just not going to have a whole lot on it. Now, let's go to the beginning of it again. I want you to think if he actually did just sit in here. Once again, it's tougher because 77 did come in and save the day on that interior rush. You'll see here, boom, Burks was running a deep dig, and he was open. Also, this is pass interference, okay? We can get into the uncatchable, catchable stuff all you want to, okay? To me, though, yeah, I guess you could say this is uncatchable, but I don't know. I mean, if this ball was just a little bit further, I do think you throw this flag right here. But man, that's tough. It's really tough. I'm a little shocked they didn't call it. And then, of course, I mean, come on. That's a block in the back on the punt and return team. This is what all teams do. You're in quarters with the quarters look, and then one safety flies into the box, and then another goes center field. Okay? So it does change, right? And 26 is, backing out into this space right here. Now, I have access to the all-22, and you don't see this, but this ball is thrown into heavy coverage. Heavy. This is just never being completed. But normally, if there are 4 guys around here, something else was open. All right, and I know it's grainy and all of that, but you'll see here that they're running a switch release here, vertical here, and if I'm a tier, I am definitely getting off of that. I off of this right here. Okay, I get that there is a window, if you will, right here, but once again, it is super grainy. That's there. Okay, 84 is walking into the end zone. All right, so you missed the touchdown on 1st down. This is so unfreaking believably bad. All right, there's still plenty of time left in this game. Your defense is still playing ridiculously well, and there honestly aren't many things you would prefer more in this situation than a shallow drag from your freak speedy tight end who's being trailed by a defensive end. All right, so line of scrimmage is crowded, and even with the line of scrimmage being crowded, the shallow drag is what we want to work anyway, right? Because if both of these guys come, guess what? Pause. Major pause. You're replacing those Mike backers with a shallow drag, okay? So, once again, I won't show you the all-22. It's so grainy. You're running vertical. Kanek is wide open for a massive gain. All right, this is one of the receivers you have the most chemistry with, and you turn into a corn cob and take a really bad sack. And on top of taking this sack, Mateer earlier in the season is still getting out of this, okay? Look, Taff is getting thrown all the way back to Terry Black's barbecue here. And, well, Mateer looked like he was ready for turkey legs at the state fair. So Mateer took a 3rd down sack. That was not the worst. They were running all deep stuff, which you should never do on 3rd and 22 when it's a clear, and it was shorter than 3rd and 22, but still on a clear 3rd and forever situation. So now, man, what Norman suburb are we going to do? You let me know in the chat which small Oklahoma town should I shout out. Okay. 4th and 22. I saw Lenore Sellers do this versus LSU, and it drove me nuts. You cannot throw a check down here. It just needs to get thrown up. All right, protection here is fine. It's fine. Okay? The one thing we can't do, just reset your feet. There's actually 2 receivers down this right side. We just cannot check this down. All right? I'm telling you, he's panicking. And then obviously with the sun as well, that's a tough catch. Okay, I wasn't kidding about the shadows. Oh, and you can see it's ugh. How many times did you see Mateer just do some downright stupid things? And this, and to be fair, to push against this game, whether it was a Wyoming game or the Boise game, in particular away from home, this game was on his tape last year. So it could be that he was not in that spot. And he might not have ever been concussed, but you could still be dazed after that. It could still really affect you for the rest of the game, along with all the other injuries that he was facing. Now, we could get into a philosophical discussion about should he have even played in this game. Michael Hawkins is terrible. It probably would have been worse than this, ironically. And also, with Arbuckle being a younger OC, so much of this offense hinges on Mateer's creativity, guile, and playmaking ability. Once again, on 4th and 10, he decides to not rip it. You just got to throw it up, right? It's the second time he did this. I don't care about the route concepts anyway. You don't want to see them either. But I will take the heat for doing something like that. But it's just something, okay? Now I want to shout out my good buddy Alan Kinney. Check out the Keyhole Pod. They're not paying me for that mention. They're just a good show for the best Oklahoma coverage. And there's a lot of people that do Oklahoma coverage I like a lot. The what's the name of the guy that did the John Mateer watch where he dressed up as Joe Dirt? Oh man, I loved it. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! Tonight we are doing calzones. Let's go.